making sure we got our molds all cleaned off. This is for the lines in the thin blue, thin red line series. We're going to get ready to cast our bricks. Make sure you tear it. Looking for 90 grams of each part. A clean 90. So let's get this up to 90. Going to drizzle in with our little bottle now so that we can bring it up a little at a time. There we go, 90. Part A. So we'll go ahead and we'll re-tear that. Part B, now we're at 86. So you gotta make sure you keep these in order, man. You don't want to mess these up, because boy, I'll tell you what, that'll upset you. Upset you terrible. So we're going to bring her into 90 here. There we go, 90. And yes, some of this stuff is by the drip, one drop at a time. Alright, so we're going to sit here and mix this now. You see these striations in there? You can see those. That's what has to all be gone. No striations. So you're going to come around your edges. Now I'm doing this obviously one-handed, so you won't be hopefully filming. So you're going to go around the edges, both clockwise and counterclockwise. And what that does, it's a curved edge. I'm using a curved stick to make sure that any part A, part B that might be separated there get, incorporated. So then I'm going to go across the bottom. All right, all the way across the bottom, back and forth, and that's going to make sure anything that was across the bottom, because we pour these in separately. Next, we're going to go around the sides, okay? Going to go around the sides. I'm going to stir in some more. Because for me, it doesn't matter, because I always go to the vacuum chamber and degas it, remove all the air. So for me, it doesn't really matter at all. All right, we're looking good. I don't see any striations, so we're going to get ready to go ahead and dye. Now, I have people occasionally that, there's some weird ones out there that have to know what dye I use. And it's like, I don't really put out all my secrets. They're like, yeah, well, if one guy told me if it was real, then you wouldn't lie. I was trying to figure out what he meant by that. He wanted to know what kind of dye I use, and I said I wouldn't tell him. And he said if it was real, then I wouldn't lie. I just couldn't figure it out. I mean, idiots are getting more idiot every day. But I'm gonna do you a favor there, Dinkeldorf. Okay, here you go. This is the top secret blue dye that you've been wanting to know about. And unfortunately for you, I owe my soul to the company store. It's Foul Fanatics brand. So good luck on that one there, pal. Alright, so what am I going to do now? I'm going to go ahead, take my stick. I'm going to come in, go ahead, and we're going to drop her in. And now we're going to just sit here and work this. Alright, so we're on a certain time frame. I'm not going to hand out my time. I know everybody wants to have everything done for them. Can you tell me how to mix it? Tell me what you're doing, what brand. Give me the name of the people you get your stuff. I'm waiting for somebody to ask me to finance it next. Yeah, all it really does, folks, is it's hard work. That's the biggest thing you need to do, is have a work ethic. All right, we're going to get this in the pressure caster. All right, so we're in here in the vacuum chamber. I said pressure chamber, but I meant vacuum chamber. So what we're looking for here, hopefully my snowflake doesn't get upset that the light's on. He likes to comment that he wants the lights turned off. So, wow. So you're watching it right here for the bubbling. You can see the lines here. You'll see how high up it goes. Starting to degas now. And it'll just start going crazy bubble. We're coming up on minus 30 inches of mercury. That one wasn't too bad at all, huh? As soon as it starts getting to be about 40-50% flat, I'll go ahead and release. That just means all the bubbles are on the surface now and not in the actual product. That one, I did a pretty good job stirring that one. Sometimes they bubble up 2 or 3 times their size. Alright, that looks good. Let's go ahead and shut it off, and you'll see that when we release it, see what happens? See how they're all pretty much gone? Those ones on the surface just kind of go away. Alright, now when dealing with this kind of stuff, no. Mold releases will ruin the entire call. You have to do these calls, these thin red lines and the Texas calls and these other inclusion calls must be done with no release. That's why you have to have really special types of molds. If you don't have those, you're going to have problems. Those PVC molds will not work. You have to have special molds that one of their characteristics is stuff does not stick to them. I use this on a lot of different calls, okay, multicolor calls, but once you start adding inclusions, if you have mold release on it, it will never stick. Mold release doesn't allow it to stick to the acrylic. So obviously, logically, if you sprayed that on here, when you casted your thin blue lines, then when you went to put them in there, you'd wind up with thin blue lines that don't stick. So what we're going to do now is we're going to fill. All right. And then once we get these filled, we're going to go into the pressure caster. And I've had people come on and go, dude, that just seems ridiculous to go to all that trouble for that. Those calls, I'm happy to go to all this trouble for these calls. They're a very special call. They mean a lot. All right. And we have 2 bricks set and ready for thin blue lines. So these are going to get into the pressure caster now. A tip for you is to have a piece of something so you can lift these up. If you try to grab a hold of a soft, these are a thin wall. You try to go to hold of those and get them in there, you're going to be wearing them. That I can guarantee you. So, I don't think you guys have ever seen me load the pressure caster. Yeah, look at all the gunk in there. That's what happens. It's what happens. So, we're going to get in there. Okay. Now we're in the bottom of the caster. We're going to go ahead and get our ultra super heavy duty lid on. Now this is not how I recommend you do this. You should have two hands, one on the opposing sides, but I'm holding a camera so that I can document this for you guys. So, okay, make sure your valves are all set. All right, and then we're going to get ready to and all of that is what's required to make the line. Alright, this one is a loss because it was slightly canted. It happens occasionally. You can see it's got a cant in it. You can see it right there. It's one of those side effects that happens. It's a perfectly good blank, but it's got that cant in it. It's not perfect, so reject. But to make this line right here, you just watch the process for doing that in blue. So we now have 2 hours to go in here, and then when we're done with that, we'll move over into the heat curer, and she'll be there for a 15-hour stint. All right, guys, about 10 at night. Thought I'd just get the last piece so you could see the fully done process for making our blue lines. There it is. This is the block. You can see right through there, huh? See? Not a single bubble. Nothing, perfectly clear. That's the process we use, guys, for making the line for the thin blue line.